Welcome to daithiraids, guys. Coming up on the end of the year, this is my top 24 most used champions in 2024. So let's get on with it. So number one is Mezamel. Mezamel got a ton of use this year. Pretty sure I only got her this year. And she's been fantastic. She's now 5-star blessing +1, and I usually have her built in 1-turn stone skin with as much speed and damage as I possibly can get, with crit rate at 70%, and that's so that she's built as a go first nuker. But if it so happens that I don't win the speed race, she still has the stone skin there to preserve herself, and she's able to come back with that ignore stone skin, deny revive, and get me off to a good start, take out the problems on the enemy team, and we can go from there. Next up on my list is UDK. So we have, where is he? We've already lost the plot, guys, so let's get to typing. Ultimate Death Knight is next in my most used champions, and you can see I have bits and pieces missing everywhere at the moment, because I'm doing a lot of rebuilding and making videos as well. So UDK I have built. He's for arena, but he's very, very good for loads of different places. I love him for Amius. I love him in various different places where somebody is going to take a big hit and you don't want them to if it's a single target nuke. So I have him built very slow, not as slow as I did previously, but that's because I got a couple of pieces in like this here that just didn't have the 0 speed that I was looking for. So 2-turn stone skin, previously 9-piece stone skin, but 2-turn or 6-piece now, but with retaliation and either the blood shield ring or counter attack revenge accessories is what I'm building him in at the moment, and just letting him do his job of defending you and getting the odd retaliation in as well. Super high HP and defense as high as you can get, both of them, is what I generally do, and let him do his job. So that is my number 2. These are no particular order, guys, as well, just to let you know that. Next up, a champion I love and doesn't get enough love is Pytheon. Pytheon is insanely good. I personally, and loads of people will disagree, maybe I shouldn't say it this early in the video, I personally rate him above Duchess. I like him better than Duchess. I have him built high HP, so I have him over 100 HP, or over 100,000 HP rather, over 4k defense, over 4.5k defense, I think there. Oh no, my maths is terrible. Okay, what was happening there? What did I do? Oh, I thought that was 999. Yeah, so over 4k, nearly 4k defense rather, and 270 or 67 speed. Now I'm on tilt, guys, I don't know what I'm saying, but with bolster set and 1-turn stone skin, so he keeps himself and your team alive, and all of the masteries then are in the support and the defense tree as well. He is such a good tank, guys, and so good at keeping your team alive, especially with that passive. I actually have to change that blessing because he has no accuracy really in the thing, but good at keeping your team alive in every area of the game because it is passive. Allies receive 5% less damage from skills for each buff on them and stacks up to 25%. If I had any criticism of him, it would be that he doesn't put enough buffs on the team himself. Without his revive, all he has is the block debuffs. So if he if there was even an increased defense on there as well, it wouldn't be a question. He would be better than Duchess, especially actually if there was a Vale instead. But we don't really want Vale, because if it was Vale, the rule is that would be 4 turn. Now on to our next. We have Lydia, the Death Siren. I use Lydia pretty much everywhere, as should you. Lydia is phenomenal in the game. I have her in 9-piece protection set at the moment, 289 speed. I don't have her crit capped. Have her some resistance and 450 accuracy with as much survivability as I could get, and that survivability at the moment is 73k HP and 3.2k defense. Now the big thing I love her for is the deny revive on the passive. She doesn't have to, she just has to be there. So I use her in Amius, I use her in Frost Spider, I use her in Arena to deny some revivey teams. I use her with Seer compositions for the decreased defense and weaken, and the strengthen and the increased speed. I use her in Hydra, Doom Tower. Very few places that you can't find a use for Lydia the Death Siren. Realistically, probably the most enabling or the most utility, the best utility champion in the game, bar none, in my opinion. Strong opinion though it is, I definitely think that she's so good. Masteries I have down to War Master, and then the accuracy and support tree there as well. So that's Lydia, and that was number 4. Speaking of Lydia and Seer comps, then we have Seer herself. So Seer, primarily Doom Tower and clearing the waves, making progress all the way through Doom Tower, but also exceptionally good in any wave clearing content. So I would use her in Dragon to clear the waves, and then get on to the Dragon, and Staltus can take over doing his job once she gets killed. I would use her similarly in Ice Golem, and Seer would step in then, or not Seer, Dreng would step in then, and he would solo the Ice Golem, and we can use her the same in any of the non-hard dungeons as well. I even put together a comp for hard Spider with herself and a few other epics as well, and that worked really well. It was a very good comp that I actually put together for a video and then left it for a while as my main composition. It was so good, really like that. So that Seer enables a load of speed farming, really good champion, does require the stats. Everybody thinks that once you have Seer, it's plain sailing, like, oh, Seer is such a great champ, she's such a great champ. She is when you have the stats, and she is when you have the other champions to enable what she does. A lot of people forget about that and are just like, oh, just build Seer. Doesn't work like that, and I'm frankly sick of hearing people saying it, because she isn't just an automatic win button. You have to build the stats out, and you have to build the team out as well. Doesn't mean she's not accessible though. Now we have Tomb Tower Dreng. What? Walking Tomb Dreng. So Dreng is, I remember going for the fusion for him, and I thought he was awesome. Guys, actually, if you like, or even if you don't like reading the lore, read his lore. I thought it was pretty good and pretty dark actually as well, when you realize what exactly is going on here. So I have him built in regen with Defiant. I have everything ascended out the wazoo. I have him in a blood shield ring then as well, and then one random piece of stone skin as well for the resistance. And you can stack resistance on him because he does not need any accuracy, so that is so good. The blessing I have him in is emergency heal as well for that extra healing. So not only is he getting healing from the regen, he's getting healing from the blessing as well, because he is getting a shield with every hit, and then every time he reapplies it or gets it removed, the blessing's kicking in, and that's what works in conjunction with the blood shield ring. His masteries then are all about survivability and healing and extra stats as well. So I use him for Ice Golem, any Ice Golem farming at all. He's the man to do it, and he is, I prefer him to Artak, although I do use both now, but only very, very recently, because I thought Drang was much easier to build. Now, although there's a lot of building in that build line, and I'm aware of that. Brogni is, Brogni's very, very good. You'll notice I have him in 3-piece, 3-piece bolster, and the reason for that is Brogni is in my clan boss team, so I use him 3 to 4 times every single day, and that's why he's in my most used champions list for 2024. So with that, I removed one of the pieces of bolster off him because I don't want him to have the protected shield for that composition, because I want the shields to be increased and all the rest of it. So he's in a broken set at the moment, 194 speed, HP 93, defense 3800, and resistance is just whatever it landed at with enough accuracy to land his debuffs then as well. And he provides the shield growth, the brimstone, the reflect damage, and the block debuffs in my clan boss composition, and that's why I use him every single day. That was the wrong X to click. I'm full of the wrong X's. Get the notifications off the screen. There we go. So that was Brogni. Another champion that is used in my clan boss team daily is Gregor. So this, I use both of my Gregors. One is as a speed lead in arena, not speed aura, but my fastest speed booster. He's exceptionally good, especially with Carnage, or where is it? Especially with Carnage, because he places increased attack and increased accuracy, so Carnage gets boosting from both of those. He cools down ally skills by 1 turn with 1 ally, and fills turn meter with 2 allies. So that's the downside of him. The turn meter fill comes third, so you need 2 barbarians on there with him. And then if you have 3, he does a the void, a Shuzen type effect with an instant turn. So I love Gregor for arena and for some Hydra compositions as well, because we have great champions like Thor and Freya and Odin to pair him with now as well. But it's actually this Gregor that I use mostly, and up until yesterday he only had 3 pieces of equipment on, I think. I think he just had the ring, the gloves, and the chest piece, and that was because my clan boss composition is just so minimal that that's all he needed. He was just there to provide the increase duration of ally buffs. So he increases ally buffs, and he also decreases, if you have one more barbarian on the team, decreases skill cooldown as well, which means that a Wixwell composition becomes very, very achievable and very doable, and I really like him for it. I actually had the 2 of them on it at one stage as well, because each of them could be the one faction ally for the other, so that worked really well too. Don't overlook Gregor. I really like him. Now my shining light, the love of my raid life, the bunny that is Razelvarg. Razelvarg is phenomenal. I use him absolutely everywhere. He can solo so much content. He's my campaign nightmare campaign farmer. He can farm most of Dragonhard. He can farm, I use him in my Fire Knight teams I did use him in my Ice Golem teams to clear waves previously as well. Where else do I use him? Hydra, most definitely. Like anywhere I can, I use him. I think he's so good. I saved up to get the blessing for him. I built that out along the way. I really put a lot of priority into him. I think he's such a great champion, and this is his build. He's a 9-piece Slayer set. Now, the Optimizer will tell you this isn't the best set, and most people would probably tell you it's not the best set, and they may be right. However, I think Razelvarg is all about going often. So he's about getting back round to his turn again. A lot of the time at the speeds I have him built, he's at 216 or 316 speed rather, and he gets some of his damage from that speed too. So that's not the attack being down at 5736 isn't a bad thing. His crit damage is high as well, and he has decent accuracy. So when we look at different areas, like where did I say Fire Knights, he's at 322 with extra stats in these places and some ignore defense. The same in Hydra battles, he's at 326. He boosts his own speed over time every time he uses a tree and places increased speed out there. Increased speed itself gives him a damage boost because his damage scales off attack and speed, as you can see there. And he also has the potential to be the fastest champion in the game, bar none, after a few turns. So going into a battle, he can be outsped, but like theoretically with the best gear in the game, there are champions that are faster than him going into battle. But after a couple of rounds of battle, there's nobody that can be faster than him. He is the theoretical fastest champion in the game. Now, the gear itself, 9-piece, means that every AoE attack, he's getting 20% more or less back of his turn meter. He is ignoring 30% of enemy defense when using AoE skills. He's using them most of the time, and then he also has a chance to deal the damage from the AoE skill twice with the 9-piece, and he gets speed and crit damage and crit rate and all the rest of it with that. So he's getting more turns, he's getting more damage, and he's getting the possibility to do more damage, or do his damage twice on those hits as well. So that's why I love Slayer for him. Thank you for joining me. This has been my TED Talk on Razelvarg. I could talk about him for days. I love him. Next up is another big damage dealer, and I have two big juicy nuts. So these are my boys, my best boys, Nut 1 and Nut 2. Yeah, as I mentioned, I'm rebuilding a load of things, so that's why he's missing a bit. But they're generally in a bit of ignore defense stuff and survivability and accuracy. Basically getting the accuracy as high as I can, up around the 300, over it if I can, or close as possible to it as the rest of the time. The reason they don't need to be too high, even though I use them in Fire Knight Hard 10, is because like I said, Razelvarg is the other champion, and he provides increased accuracy as well as increased speed. So I use them for Fire Knight, I use them for Hydra, I use them for Sand Devil, I use them for boss killing in Doom Tower, for various different bosses. I use them on Amius, Cursed City, you name it. There's not a boss or a place that you can't really use Nut. He is the boss killer extraordinaire. Even the new boss Chimera, Newt is your man. It's simple as that. He's one of the best champions out there by far. Now, not so much anymore, but for most of 2024, this champion was my go-to for my speed booster. because she would never be banned. So basically she was better than Sify as a speed booster, not just as a champion, but as a speed booster. She's better than Sify because she does similar things, as in she provides the block buffs, then fills the turn meter, and also now gives increased accuracy as well. But not only that, but the speed boost is actually double what Sify does. So I find her exceptionally good. She also has a lot of getting back around to turn meter stuff as well, and provides decreased resistance and decreased accuracy, and more turn meter fill. She also can come in really handy sometimes by stealing stone skin off enemies in arena. So yeah, I love Loriaka. I think she's a very good champion. I have her down just far enough to get a boost in stats and stuff like that, but probably would have went into Eagle Eye. Okay, so Loriaka is very good. If you're looking for a speed booster and you don't have one, she's not a bad shout, especially if you have the stats in Skinwalkers. Now, the next one, talking about speed boosters, is Istrid Dreamsong. Now, I didn't go for her blessing, and shame on me. I really should have, but I think I was just a bit burnt out in work and a bit burnt out in the game as well. So Istrid is a great champion. Was she in Easter 1 as well? She was, and Razelvarg was before that, I think. So yeah, they actually, do you know what, there's a thought, hold on for the Easter champions. They seem to be really good. Istrid is fantastic. I don't have her built exceptionally well, but she does what I need her to do exceptionally well. She accuracy and speed, and then whatever survivability and damage you can get into her is where you want to be. I need to build out the rest of her masteries and get her down to War Master. I have a big trouble lately with not finishing my masteries on my champions. I have too many champions and not enough time or energy to farm out the Minotaur scrolls needed. But Istrid is great. Love her. Love putting her as the lead in Hydra teams with a Shamail there. She keeps getting turns. She keeps on boosting your team, getting the buffs out, taking an extra turn, debuffing the enemy team, getting turn meter decrease if possible on Hydra, not obviously. And then with the passive, she's also supplying some healing and all that as well. So I love Istrid. Need to probably work on her build a bit more. She, especially for Hydra, I should maybe build her in Hex or Provoke or something like that, because she can provide more than what she's doing at the moment. Then of course, if we spoke about him a bit earlier on, Wixwell. Wixwell gets used every single day of the week for me, 3 or 4 times. And he is built with Brimstone. He's all booked out, and he's not in any particular set. He's basically just at 201 speed, or 211 speed rather, and survivability, 88k, nearly 5k defense. He's not crit capped or anything like that, and has accuracy and resistance. I was using him in Hydra for a bit, but I just became lazy and went over to full auto teams, so he doesn't really get used there. Haven't even done masteries, don't need them. I just use him for clan boss now, and he does what I need him to do exceptionally well there, and that's all I need him for. So that's what I keep on keeping on with him. I like my clan boss team to just, you know, set and forget, no interference out of it at all. So that's Wixwell. He can be used lots of other places as well, but that's where I use him. Another champion I love